This is game theory, and game theory it occurs in oligopoly, and it's another word for payoff matrix. So in an oligopoly, there are just a few firms, and so um, in this payoff matrix, we have Target and Walmart. And in this example, it's whether they should use coupons or no coupons. And basically, these are how much money they'll earn. The boxes show how much money they'll earn if they use coupons or if they won't. So to start off, I'm going to go over dominant strategy, which is basically if one of the companies chooses to use, say, coupons, then which strategy is better for the other. And the dominant strategy is overall. So say Walmart decides to do coupons, so that means they'll be in these two boxes. So Target has to choose which one is better for them. So obviously the $120 million is better for them than 100. So they'll also do coupons. And if Walmart chooses not to use coupons, then the best choice for Target is also to do coupons. So then the dominant strategy for Target is to use coupons. And then vice versa for whatever Target chooses, Walmart will also do coupons. So another topic is Nash equilibrium, which is when both firms don't take into account what else will happen if they choose the best for them, the best choice. So in this box is the colluding box where they both choose and they both communicate. So this one you wouldn't start at. So you'd start at one of these two. And so you look at this box and you say, if Target does coupons, then will it want to move out of this box? And so you look at these numbers and you see the 120 and 150. So it wouldn't want to move out of this box. But for Walmart, it would want to go here because 120 is obviously bigger than 100. So then you go to this box, and that box isn't in it anymore. So then you start at Target, so 120, 200, 120, 100, and it won't want to move out of this box. So now we look at Walmart and we go 120, 100, so it won't want to move. So this is the Nash equilibrium.
Hi, my name is Vito Aguilar and I'll be presenting fiscal policy. Fiscal policy focuses on the government spending and tax cutting and tax increasing. The effect on the fiscal policy is shown on the AD and AS curve, on the AD and AS graph. Sorry. So it's price level over real GDP. Then the graph the SRES, which stands for the short run aggregate supply, and the AD curve, which is aggregate demand. In the middle, long run aggregate supply. No, it's LRES as well. So the fiscal policy either produces a shift to the right or a shift to the left on the AD curve. Whenever the AD curve shifts to the right, it's because the government spending increases or the tax decreases. So this will produce a new demand AD curve. The government spending or the tax cutting of the tax cutting are made to stimulate the economy. So it stimulates the economy because more is making is increasing the demand for products. The shift on the AD curve produces inflationary gap, which is here. This inflationary gap is produced because there's more demand, that the demand exceeds the real GDP produced. And vice versa.
Comparative and absolute advantage. Let's go. Okay, so here we have Tim and Lewis's production possibility curves for lumber and oil. So for each one you have obviously the numbers that they produce, and they'll produce at some point around here, which will be like not all the way to each. This is if they specialize, they'd be at this point. If for instance Lewis specialized in terms of lumber, he'd produce 50, and he would not produce any oil. So in order to maximize their production, they would want to trade and specialize, but first you have to figure out their opportunity costs. So I already did the math. So the opportunity cost of producing lumber for Lewis is 1/5 oil, and for oil it's 5 lumber. And then for Tim, the opportunity cost would be, for lumber would be 2 oil, and then for oil it would be 1/2 lumber. So obviously from this we can see that the opportunity cost of producing lumber for Lewis is lower because it's 1/5. So he would want to specialize in lumber, and for Tim it would be oil because it's 1/2 instead of 5. So then Tim would specialize in lumber, which would be at 40, and Lewis would specialize in lumber. So then we move on to absolute advantage, which is just who can produce more of one product. So in this instance, Tim has an absolute advantage for oil because he produces 40, which is obviously more than 10, and Lewis has an absolute advantage in lumber because he produces 50, which is obviously greater than 20. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be doing unemployment now. Unemployment is people who can't find a job but are currently looking for a job. Okay, so this takes back to what the labor force is. Labor force is made up of the unemployed plus the employed. Discouraged workers don't count as a part of the labor force because they're not currently looking for a job, and therefore they don't count as a labor force. So unemployed. There's different types of unemployment. There's 3 types. One is structural. The other one is frictional, and the last one is cyclical. The first one, cyclical, has to do with the business cycle. For example, in a recession, people are gonna be fired from their works. Therefore, cyclical unemployment is gonna increase. Okay, so frictional frictional is one of the unemployments that you can really get rid of because it's always occurring in the economy. For example, frictional is seen when college students get out of college and they're looking for jobs. They don't get a job. They don't they take their time to get a job because they're looking for their best options. So therefore, this is called frictional. Another example of this is that workers are always looking for better jobs, so they're always foregoing jobs for looking for better options. Okay, now the last one is structural. This has to do with the skill of the workers. So like, if a worker, if a certain job demands a certain skill, and that worker does have that skill, the worker is gonna be considered unemployed because you don't have the skills to do that job right. Okay, and that's it.
Alright, so we're going to talk about the classical and Keynesian approaches to stabilization. And the classical way is basically that the supply curve makes its own demand curve, and you're just supposed to leave it alone. The government doesn't have to do anything, and it'll fix itself. Kind of like the invisible hand.
So now the Keynesian approach it's named after the British economist John Maynard Keynes. So it says that it's disapproving the classical approach and saying that that fiscal policy and other policies are needed in order to stabilize the economy.